we got to get something straight here. And that is when you should be mad about penalty stuff and when you shouldn't be mad about penalty stuff. Right? Because I have seen online discourse dominated by people I believe to be wrong. And those people, generally speaking, are Arsenal fans in this particular case. Now, I do my absolute best not to have a particular bias. And compared to a lot of clubs, I don't really go after Arsenal a whole lot, right? They show up, they finish second every year, and they're just respectable citizens, right? But this time, this whole match with Newcastle has become an unmitigated online disaster for a couple of reasons. Now, obviously, Arsenal ended up winning this game, which makes this whole thing even funnier. They were losing for a lot of it, thanks to Nick Voldemort over there, and then they came back, scored in the 84th, in the 96th minute, 96th minute, in order to actually win the game. So Arsenal picked up all 3 points against a top 4 contending type club in Newcastle on the road. They're happy. No, they think they got screwed by the refs, which is fair. You can win and also have been screwed by the refs. But we need to break down exactly what Arsenal fans are upset about because it's dumb. We'll start in the 15th minute where Newcastle and Arsenal are still 0-0, and there is a penalty called for Victor Gadjet skis Gyökeres. Okay, he is in on goal in some way here, and he is taken out. We're going to try to not get DMCA'd while showing this. I'll do my absolute best. He is taken out by the goalkeeper in this situation. And when you watch it from behind, it looks like, goalkeeper kind of cleans him out. But then if you actually pay attention to the play, you will see the goalkeeper touches the ball in a way that significantly affects it. This isn't like, he got a toenail on it. Like, he redirects the ball completely, which you can even see from the behind view. But when you get this view from here, he hits the ball. Gyökeres gets to the ball first, tries to direct it, and then the goalkeeper hits it as well. This is not a reckless, dangerous play by the goalkeeper. The player that is making this challenge particularly reckless is Gyökeres. So you're not going to be able to give a foul for like a reckless tackle by the goalkeeper. His studs are not up. He just puts a foot in Gyökeres' way and deflects the ball out of the way, and Gyökeres is flying in there, as he should be. I'm not saying this is some terrible, flagrant foul play on Gyökeres. It's not. He's doing exactly what a striker should be doing. And if he managed to flick the ball a little further to the left, he would have gotten a penalty because the goalkeeper wouldn't have touched it because he got to the ball first. If he had lifted it over the goalkeeper's foot, if he had gone around him, like I was just saying, you get a pen in this situation. He doesn't. He just isn't able to do that. And it's a tough situation, but the goalkeeper gets a foot in the challenge and knocks the ball away. And he does it in a way that is not reckless and endangering the other player. This isn't a foul. It's not a foul. It's just not. I have no idea why I've seen so many people saying that Arsenal's getting screwed or that they're sprinting over to reverse this call. This is what VAR is for. The angle that the referee is at, he's not really able to see this. He's over here. I would have called a penalty if I was from there. We saw the view from behind, right? It looks like Gyökeres gets a touch to the ball. It goes to the side, and then it's a foul on the goalkeeper. But when you get the view from behind the goal, you can see that the goalkeeper has made a proper challenge here. Not a dangerous one, a proper one. He's put a foot in. He's got a foot to the ball. He's been able to redirect it. It's a good tackle. I can't think of a better use, considering how bad VAR has been, of VAR than this instance. Now, that is going to change when we get to later in the match. Okay, that's going to change. Of course it is. I'm not here just to tell you the refs did a good job. We fucking know that's not always, that's not the story ever. I mean, every once in a blue moon it is, but this is not, I'm not drinking Blue Moon today. All right, this is exactly what VAR is for. You get an angle that the ref on the field doesn't have, the assistant referees don't have, and you're able to make the correct call, right? And allow what ended up being a great match to play out as it should. After the goalkeeper absolutely took a risk making this play, but he ended up getting enough of it right. Okay, but the other parts to this, right, comes from maybe this tweet, which got a lot of likes, by the way. Halal Weiler, shout out, my boy. Didn't hear a word from anyone on this, not the refs, not the commentators. But when Gyökeres wins a penalty, VAR rushes to overturn it. As we've already discussed, that was the right decision. When the ball deflects onto Gabriel's arm, VAR check. We're going to get to that. When Saliba contests an aerial duel in the box, VAR check. What are we supposed to think? You're supposed to think that VAR is bad, but it is not necessarily out to get you. And I'm going to prove that over the next couple of minutes. Okay, here is what they're talking about. This is a play that nobody talked about at the moment that it happened. Do you know why nobody talked about it? Is Martinelli just scuffed, by the way, just debaucherous miss on this volley, just hits it right into the ground. Yeah, that looks like it hits his hand. I see maybe a slight change of direction on that ball. I would love to get some sort of side view on this, but I haven't been able to find it. But it does look like this ball hits his hand. And you know what? If you're making yourself bigger with your arms in the box to obstruct a ball that's headed anywhere in the box that could be dangerous, right, that is a penalty. We've established that. Except for Spain against Germany in the Euros. But, you know, who the hell knows what happened with that play, right? You cannot use your arms to make yourself bigger. It is just a mental error on the part of the Newcastle defender as he's trying to turn his body. This is Gyökeres, it looks like. He's trying to turn his body to block the ball. It goes wide of him, and it looks like it grazes his hand, right? Have you guys ever fucking played? Have you ever played the sport? Have you ever watched the sport from the stands? Do you know how hard it is to see this sort of shit live? This ball changes direction, if at all, barely. Barely. The vast majority of seats in the stadium and people on the field and whatever, you're not even going to have noticed this. The ball flight's going to look pretty much what you're expecting coming off Martinelli's foot. And if you don't happen to have the view from right behind Martinelli that we're getting with this camera, you're not even going to be thinking, oh, wow, did that like maybe hit his hand a little bit? Yes, VAR should have looked at this. And if there is a side view of this that shows it hitting his hand, it is, unfortunately, according to the rules that apparently we're supposed to be following, a penalty. If I was writing the rules of the game, it wouldn't be, but it should have been if we can find a side view that shows that the hand made significant contact here with the ball, which it looks like it might have. But it is also more understandable than most of the time that this call is not made because nobody noticed it, right? I'm sure the person tweeting this didn't notice it until after the game, right? It takes, this is where the internet causes problems, right? As you take a 4-second video and all of a sudden that goes viral. People maybe didn't even watch the match. Are watching this 4-second clip going, oh, how did they miss that? That's so obvious. It's like, well, yeah, it doesn't look like that during the game. You don't get every 4 seconds slowed down, zoomed in, right? Like there is no, based off where the ball was going, reason to look at this. You need a very good VAR crew to even catch this in the first place, which clearly there are not a lot of those. They do not exist a ton. And so you don't have a great VAR crew. You have just some dude who's trained to do the VAR, and he's watching the match. And there isn't like a significant review to this, and then you're gone. Right? And I'm kind of in this camp. I didn't watch this match either. I'm in the middle of streaming Rust like 14 hours a day every single freaking day. So maybe right after this highlight, every single player on Arsenal is crowding around the ref going like, hey, handball. And even in that case, if VAR is not looking at the right angle, they'll be like, yeah, there's no handball here. They would need this one camera angle, which is a weird one, by the way, right, in order to be able to see that. But obviously, if you are Arsenal and they didn't do that, you should have been. If you're Gabby Martinelli or whatever, I don't even know who would have been able to see this. Martinelli probably would have been able to see it. But you got to be running around slapping your hands saying handball. But Arsenal, I think, on the balance of the calls in this game, got lucky as hell. The reason, and this is what they won't talk to you about, this was a review for a potential penalty right after Arsenal equalized, like less than 2 minutes after Arsenal had tied the match. And you've got Newcastle on the move. You got the ball in the box. Here comes the cross. Bro. According to every rule I know about the sport, that is a penalty. Every day, twice on Sunday, that's a penalty. It has to be. This is a defender making himself a lot bigger using his arm to clearly obstruct a ball being played in the box. It doesn't matter that he's not sure that the ball's going to hit his hand. Look at this from behind. I mean, you could say this is like a natural slide tackle or whatever. He just throws his arm up there. Just chucks his arm up there as part of the challenge. And people saying, oh, it was deflected, and that guy was complaining that this was reviewed by VAR. How was this not given as a penalty? That's a stone cold pen. We've got guys getting penalties regularly for like heading the ball into their elbow in like a corner, like they go, and then it like nicks their elbow, and then all of a sudden it's a penalty. We've got this guy throwing his arm straight up into the air on a slide tackle, making himself so much bigger. And this is not like close to the armpit either. That's right in the inside of the elbow, halfway up the arm, fully extended from his body. He's making himself so much bigger in the box with his arm. And unlike the Gyökeres thing, I don't need some particular angle to see this. I don't need to be particularly focused on my job to see this. An F-graded VAR person is going to see this happen on the field. Right? You don't have to be like at least a B-, which they all should be A's, and that would be great. But the worst VAR person in the Premier League should be able to see this and call this a pen. There is no explanation for it not being a penalty. If there is, it's a modification to the rule, kind of similar to Spain not getting their penalty against, Germany not getting their penalty against Spain with the Cucurella play. It's absurd. If we're going to enforce defenders making their bodies bigger with their arms off their body, this is like example A. At the very least, example B. And the reason that you have to enforce that is if you don't, defenders are going to be trained to come out like this or like this because they're not intentionally swatting the ball away. They're just making themselves bigger before the ball is crossed. And while the rule is annoying, I understand the point of it because you don't want your defenders looking like Mr. Mime every time the ball is being hit across the box. And it's against the spirit of the game. I don't know the right answer. Either you end up with defenders coming out like Mr. Mime or you call this. You have to call this. So the first one, not a pen. The second one, it's a pen, but I at least kind of understand how they missed it, right? You need another angle to confirm it, and it's pretty well hidden in the flow of the game. And then there's this, which should have been a penalty against Arsenal right after they tied it at 1-1, and who the hell knows what would have happened with the match after that Arsenal obviously went on to win 2-1. So to all the Arsenal fans that are upset that they won, just be happy you won this game. I have no idea how you got away with this call in particular. Win the game and move on to the next, but by no means do I think you got absolutely screwed here at all.